previous Intel Corp. CEO Brian Krzanich and DreamWorks Animation CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg speak during Krzanich's keynote address at the 2014 International CES at the Venetian, Las Vegas on January 6, 2014 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Photo by Ethan Miller, Getty Images. Intel CEO Brian Krzanich speaks during a keynote address at the Monte Carlo Park Theater during CES 2018 in Las Vegas on January 8, 2018. Mandel Nunn, AFP, Getty Images. CEO of Intel Brian Krzanich speaks with Excel's partner Joe Schondorf as they leave after the Tech for Good summit at the Élysée Palace in Paris on May 23, 2018. Photo by Ludovic Marin, AFP. Soundcloud Gallery will resume in seconds. Intel CEO Brian Krzanich speaks during a keynote address at the Monte Carlo Park Theater during CES 2018 in Las Vegas on January 8, 2018. Mandel Nunn, AFP, Getty Images. Intel Corp. Senior Vice President and CEO and Chief Technology Officer of Mobileye Aman Shashua speaks in front of a Ford Fusion with Mobileye autonomous driving technology during a keynote address by Intel Corp. CEO Brian Krzanich at CES 2018 at Park Theater at Monte Carlo Resort and Casino in Las Vegas on January 8, 2018 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Photo by Ethan Miller, Getty Images. Intel CEO Brian Krzanich speaks during a meeting with President Donald Trump at the White House February 8, 2017 in Washington, D.C. Krzanich announced an investment of $7 billion to build a factory in Chandler, Arizona to create advanced semiconductor chips. Photo by Chris Claponis Pool, Getty Images. Intel CEO Brian Krzanich displays Intel's Project Alloy, an all-in-one merged reality headset during a press event for CES 2017 at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center on January 4, 2017 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Photo by David Becker, Getty Images. Intel Corp. CEO Brian Krzanich arrives at his keynote address riding a self-balancing 9-bot Segway personal transportation robot at CES 2016 at the Venetian, Las Vegas on January 5, 2016 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Photo by Ethan Miller, Getty Images. Intel CEO Brian Krzanich jokingly wears a traditional Switzerland cowbell as Tag Heuer CEO and President of LVMH watch division, Jean-Claude Biver smiles during unveiling of the new titanium Carrera connected watch in New York on November 9, 2015. Jules Ahmad, AFP, Getty Images. Brian Krzanich, Chief Executive Officer of Intel, attends the Allen. Many of the world's wealthiest and most powerful business people from media, finance, and technology attend the annual week-long conference, which is in its 33rd year. Photo by Scott Olson, Getty Images. Hewlett-Packard Co. Executive Vice President of Printing. CEO Brian Krzanich speak during Krzanich's keynote address at the 2015 International CES at the Venetian, Las Vegas on January 6, 2015 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Photo by Ethan Miller, Getty Images. Fiorella Terenzi, Ph. D. Professor of Physics and Astronomy, Florida International University, and Brian Krzanich, CEO, Intel Corporation attend the New York Times International Luxury Conference at Mandarin Oriental on December 3, 2014 in Miami, Florida. Photo by Larry Busacca, Getty Images. Intel Corp. CEO Brian Krzanich looks on as Gabe Newell, co-founder of video game developer and distributor Valve, speaks during Krzanich's keynote address at the 2014 International CES at the Venetian, Las Vegas on January 6, 2014 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Photo by Ethan Miller, Getty Images. Intel Corp. CEO Brian Krzanich and DreamWorks Animation CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg speak during Krzanich's keynote address at the 2014 International CES at the Venetian, Las Vegas on January 6, 2014 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Photo by Ethan Miller, Getty Images. Intel CEO Brian Krzanich speaks during a keynote address at the Monte Carlo Park Theater during CES 2018 in Las Vegas on January 8, 2018. Mandel Nunn, AFP, Getty Images. Next show caption: One of 13 Intel CEO Brian Krzanich speaks during a keynote address at the Monte Carlo Park Theater during CES 2018 in Las Vegas on January 8, 2018. Mandel Nunn, AFP, Getty Images. Expand. Click here if you are having a problem viewing the photos on a mobile device against a and that, according to Intel, was in violation of the company's non-fraternization policy, which applies to all managers. The search for a new CEO is underway. Ad choice advertising and Red invented by Tees. Krzanich joins a growing crowd of powerful men in Silicon Valley and beyond who have been caught up in and publicly embarrassed by their own inappropriate behavior in the workplace. Here's a look at some of those men, who: Larry Ellison, the position, executive chairman and CTO of Oracle Corporation. The background: Ellison met marketing assistant Adeline Lee on a 1991 elevator ride. Her job was at stake and she asked for Ellison's help, and the pair soon began dating. A Vanity Fair article described how she would ask him, on company email, for things like a loan for $150,000 and an Acura NSX. Ellison responded gamely, promising, in addition to the NSX, a house in Woodside, a Gulfstream jet, a Hope Diamond, even the General Electric Corporation. The fallout: Lee was fired after the relationship ended. In 1993, she won a $100,000 wrongful termination suit after claiming that her former lover had orchestrated her filing, said the report. The quote: "At Lee's perjury trial," the report says, Ellison insisted he had never bought an Acura NSX for Lee. "I'm embarrassed to say that I ended up buying 4 of them," he told the jury. Robert Scoble, the position, blogger, co-founder of the Transformation Group. The background: last fall, multiple women reported that he had sexually assaulted or harassed them. The fallout: he has resigned from the Transformation Group. The quote: "It made me sick to work with him, but also he was offering so much help. As women we sometimes have to make tough choices. Do I want to call him out, or do I want to advance my career?" Anonymous, to TechCrunch. Eric Schmidt, the position, executive chairman of Google parent company Alphabet. The background: married for more than 34 years to Wendy Schmidt, whom he met in the late 70s. Schmidt is said to have had affairs with pianist Chao Jiang-nguyen, publicist Marcy Simon, media relations executive Lisa Shields, and former Forbes journalist Kate Bonner, according to a piece in Vanity Fair. The fallout: not much, it seems. According to various news outlets, including the International Business Times, Schmidt and his wife apparently have an open marriage, and the Daily Mail described Schmidt's private life as colorful and complex as the ever-changing Google Doodle, which pops up each time the search engine is launched. The only mention of affair in Schmidt's Wikipedia profile is a 2010 article in Foreign Affairs magazine he co-wrote called "The Digital Disruption, Connectivity and the Diffusion of Power." The quote: "As far as Kate Bonner was concerned, it was true love," her close friend Jason Parsley told the Daily Mail. She adored Eric. This wasn't some short-term fling. This was a serious love affair that went on for 3 years. John Lasseter, the position, co-founder of Pixar Animation Studios and Walt Disney's animation chief. The background: Lasseter had long been suspected of bad behavior. The Hollywood Reporter wrote that he was known for grabbing, kissing, making comments about physical attributes. The story gained traction after actress and writer Rashida Jones left Toy Story 4 because Lasseter had made an unwanted advance on her. Glamour reported that Jones later clarified in a statement that it was due to creative and workplace culture differences. However, it is also a culture where women and people of color do not have an equal creative voice. The fallout: after taking a 6-month sabbatical because of his missteps, Lasseter announced earlier this month that he was leaving his role as Chief Creative Officer of Pixar and Walt Disney Animation Studios at the end of 2018. The quote, in an apology, Lasseter said, "I've recently had a number of difficult conversations that have been very painful for me. It's never easy to face your missteps, but it's the only way to learn from them. I especially want to apologize to anyone who has ever been on the receiving end of an unwanted hug or any other gesture they felt crossed the line in any way, shape, or form. No matter how benign my intent, everyone has the right to set their own boundaries and have them respected." Mark Hurd, the position, CEO of Oracle Corporation and former chairman, CEO and president of Hewlett-Packard, before resigning. In 2010, the background. In 2010, civil rights lawyer Gloria Allred wrote Hurd a letter, according to press reports, exposing what she claimed was his two-year all-out pursuit of her client, Jody Fisher. The letter from Allred did not claim that Hurd and Fisher ever slept together, said a report in Vanity Fair, but did state that Hurd had handpicked Fisher to work as a hostess at HP. Events after spotting her on NBC's reality show Age of Love. According to Allred's letter, at the first event, in Atlanta, Hurd invited Fisher up to his hotel room, where he touched her breast twice. In Madrid, he took her to an ATM, so that she could see how big his balance was. The fallout. The day after Fisher reached an undisclosed settlement with Hurd, she said she did not believe that HP engaged in any inappropriate conduct towards me in any way. The next day, Hurd was forced out by the board. Oracle's Larry Ellison came to Hurd's defense, and Hurd is now running Oracle. The quote, in his defense of Hurd, Ellison said his forced resignation was the worst personnel decision since the idiots on the Apple board fired Steve Jobs, Andy Rubin the position, the Googler behind the Android smartphone. The background. Rubin achieved a rock star status in the Valley before stories in The Information emerged that he'd been the subject of an internal Google investigation in 2014 after a female employee complained about what the New York Times called an inappropriate relationship with a female subordinate while he was at Google. The fallout. Rubin, who took a leave of absence from the startup he now runs, had done nothing wrong, said a spokesman. Any relationship that Mr. Rubin had while at Google was consensual and did not involve any person who reported to him. Michael Citrick told The Times. Mr. Rubin was never told by Google that he engaged in any misconduct while at Google, and he did not, either while Google or since. The quote. The Times, which spoke with someone with knowledge of the matter, said the inquiry found that the relationship was inappropriate because the woman worked on the Android team while Mr. Rubin was leading it. Steve Jurvetson the position, Draper Fisher Jurvetson the background, a perennial member of Forbes's Midas list of tech's top investors and once named Venture Capitalist of the Year by Deloitte. Jurvetson stepped down from his perch at the FJ after the company caught him lying about what, according to Recode, were serious allegations of inappropriate behavior with women he worked with. The fallout. The company's investigation found, in part, a pattern of dishonesty with women, according to other sources, including extramarital affairs that, in the eyes of some, crossed into the professional world. Jurvetson also contributed to a difficult work environment, a source alleged. The complete circumstances that forced Jurvetson from his job are still in dispute, although both sides say his decision to depart was mutual. The quote. Neither the company nor Jurvetson commented about the allegations reported by Recode. In a statement, Jurvetson said he left because of the acrimony that arose between the FJ partners in the wake of the investigation. David Drummond the position, Google's top lawyer. The background. According to a report in The Information, Drummond had an extramarital affair with a female subordinate in his department. The two had a child together, said the story. When the affair was disclosed to Google's Human Resources Department, the woman, a paralegal, was moved into the sales department. she later left the company. Mr. Drummond still works there. The fallout: Drummond currently serves as Senior Vice President of Corporate Development and Chief Legal Officer for Alphabet Inc., Google's parent company. The quote: Joan Williams, a professor at Hastings Law School in San Francisco, told The Information that a workplace rife with personal relationships is a huge risk for a company. The kind of environment you've described to me, she said of Google, is a petri dish for sexual harassment lawsuits. Who? Travis Kalanick. The position: co-founder and former CEO of Uber. The background: the most high-profile sexual harassment scandal in tech involves Uber, the once high-flying ride-hailing startup whose co-founder and CEO, Kalanick, resigned from the top spot last June. His exit from the San Francisco company came after a firestorm sparked by a blog post by Susan Fowler, a former Uber engineer who says she was sexually harassed by her superiors while at Uber, and that management failed to take action. The fallout: Fowler said sexism was rampant in Uber's culture. Kalanick's leaked emails, in which he referred to employees possibly having sex while on a company trip, didn't help matters. The quote: Kalanick once said, "Go against the grain, be resilient, even if everyone thinks you are crazy." Who? Justin called back the position. Binary Capital. The background: the co-founder of San Francisco-based Binary Capital, a venture capital firm, stepped down after being accused of sexual harassment by 6 different women. The allegations include grabbing one woman's thigh under a table, offering another woman a position at a company he was considering funding, and sending another explicit text messages. The fallout: the quote: Caldbeck later sent handwritten notes to his accusers, according to Wired, and others to whom he now thinks he may have acted improperly, as well as emails to women who've been critical of him in the media, but some recipients of Caldbeck's apology emails are not convinced. They believe the disgraced investor is exploiting the public discussion around sexual harassment to recast himself as an ally, said the story in Wired. Who? Dave McClure. The position: founder of business accelerator 500 Startups. The background: the New York Times reported that McClure had hit on a job candidate he was trying to recruit. He admitted that he had made advances toward multiple women, and said his female co-founder asked him to resign. Later that month, a reporter alleged that another 500 Startups partner groped her. The fallout: he apologized, called himself a creep, and quit the Mountain View-based tech incubator he helped launch. The quote: he later wrote an online post titled, "I'm a creep. I'm sorry, boo." Amit Singhal. The position: former senior VP for engineering at Uber. The background: a Google engineer hired by Uber, Singhal was asked to resign when Uber discovered he did not disclose allegations of harassment at Google. Singhal left his job at Uber as its SVP of engineering because, according to Recode, he did not disclose to the car-hailing company that he left Google a year earlier after top executives there informed him of an allegation of sexual harassment from an employee that an internal investigation had found credible. Singhal was asked to resign by then Uber CEO Travis Kalanick, who also later stepped down. The fallout: sources at Uber told Recode that the company did extensive background checks of Singhal and that it did not uncover any hint of the circumstances of his departure from Google. Singhal disputed the allegation to Google execs at the time. And, in a statement to Records, Kara Swisher, Singhal denied the allegation while acknowledging the dispute with Google. The quote: harassment is unacceptable in any setting. I certainly want everyone to know that I do not condone and have not committed such behavior, he wrote in an email. My 20-year career, I've never been accused of anything like this before, and the decision to leave Google was my own. Staff writer Levi Sumagase also contributed to this report. Sponsored content: what's view through, and why should you track it? by if your digital ad campaign generates the same click-through rates as the average campaign, then more than 99% of people who see your ad. You might also like 1 o'clock how Toshiba is shaping a connected world. Toshiba APAC MoviePass monthly losses ramped up to $40 million in Business Insider. GM is realigning its top leadership to take Cadillac. Business Insider breakthrough asphalt-based lithium batteries can be Hardware Zone. Canon EOS 1DX Mark II vs. Nikon D5 Clash of the Hardware Zone. Plan your trip to see the Southern Lights. Tourism Australia. XX Tentacion killed in shooting at motorcycle. MercuryNews.com. Ask Amy, I'd rather go without sex the rest of my life. MercuryNews.com. Brad Pitt won't allow kids to act with Angelina Jolie. MercuryNews.com. Recommended by